fans around the world weren't ready for what Bradley Walsh shared. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't loud, and that's exactly why it hit so hard. In a calm, almost tender moment, Bradley spoke from the heart, and somehow, with just a few carefully chosen words, he managed to send a wave of emotion through millions of viewers. People didn't panic, they paused, they leaned closer, and then they worried. Because when someone who's always been full of warmth, humor, and that unmistakable sparkle suddenly sounds reflective, people notice. Bradley Walsh has always been the kind of presence that feels familiar, almost comforting. He laughs easily, teases playfully, and carries himself with the relaxed charm of someone who never needs to try too hard. He's the guy who makes a room feel lighter just by walking into it. So when that familiar energy softened, fans felt it instantly. His message wasn't rushed, it wasn't rehearsed, it felt honest. He spoke about gratitude, for moments, for people, for the journey that brought him here. He spoke about how quickly time seems to move and how important it is to appreciate what really matters. On the surface, it sounded simple, but beneath it, something deeper stirred. Viewers began replaying his words, reading between the lines, wondering what prompted this sudden emotional openness. Social media lit up with comments filled with concern, affection, and heartfelt messages. Some fans joked nervously, trying to lighten the mood. Others admitted they felt a lump in their throat. Many simply said they weren't ready to imagine a world with less of Bradley's warm presence. There's something quietly romantic about the way Bradley connects with people. Not romance in the traditional sense, but a love story built on years of laughter, shared evenings in living rooms, and moments that feel like inside jokes between old friends. That's why his words landed the way they did. They didn't feel like a performance, they felt like a conversation. And maybe that's what made viewers uneasy. Because when someone who's always been the steady source of smiles suddenly sounds reflective, it feels like standing at the edge of a chapter you're not quite ready to turn. Yet even in that emotional weight, Bradley couldn't help being Bradley. A small smile crept in, a gentle joke slipped through, perfectly timed, like he was reminding everyone not to worry too much. That familiar twinkle returned, just enough to make hearts soften again. Fans laughed through their emotions. That's his magic. He has a way of wrapping sincerity in humor, like offering comfort with a wink. It's romantic in its own way, the kind of charm that doesn't shout, but stays with you. Still, the message lingered. People began sharing their favorite Bradley moments, clips, quotes, memories. Stories about how his shows helped them through difficult days, or how his humor brought families together after long weeks. It became clear that this wasn't just about one message, it was about connection. Bradley Walsh isn't just someone people watch, he's someone people feel they know. And when someone like that speaks from the heart, it touches something personal. Some viewers admitted they felt oddly emotional, even though they couldn't quite explain why. Others said it reminded them to appreciate the people who bring light into their lives before those moments slip quietly into memory. That's the power of authenticity, and that's why this moment mattered. There was no announcement, no dramatic reveal, just a gentle reminder that time moves forward, and moments, even joyful ones, deserve to be cherished. In a world full of noise, Bradley chose sincerity, and fans responded with love. Messages poured in, thanking him for years of laughter, for kindness, for never losing that spark that makes people feel at ease. Some were playful, teasing him for making them emotional on an ordinary day. Others were deeply heartfelt, written with genuine affection. It became a shared moment, one that felt oddly intimate even through a screen. And maybe that's the most beautiful part. Bradley didn't create fear, he created reflection. He reminded everyone that joy isn't just loud laughter. Sometimes it's quiet appreciation. Sometimes it's pausing long enough to say, "This mattered." The concern from fans wasn't about loss, it was about love.
Love for a man who's been a constant presence. Love for the comfort he brings. Love for the feeling that some people, once they're part of your routine, become part of your life story. And just when emotions threatened to tip too far, Bradley's warmth pulled everyone back. That gentle humor, that reassuring tone, that unmistakable sense that he's still right there, smiling. Fans breathed again. Because if there's one thing Bradley knows how to do, it's balance between laughter and sincerity, between fun and feeling, between being entertaining and being real. This moment wasn't an ending, it was a pause, a soft reminder to appreciate what's already here. And perhaps that's why it felt so powerful. If this message stirred something in you, if it made you smile, reflect, or even laugh through a bit of emotion, you're not alone. Moments like these remind us why we connect so deeply with the people who make us feel seen, even from afar. So take a moment, share a memory, and hold on to the joy that simple, honest words can bring. Because sometimes the most meaningful messages are the quiet ones that stay with us long after the screen goes dark.
As the conversation continued online, something beautiful happened. The worry slowly transformed into warmth. Fans didn't just talk about what Bradley said, they talked about how he made them feel. That familiar comfort returned, like an old song playing softly in the background of everyday life. The kind of song you don't realize you love until it suddenly means everything. People shared stories of watching him with their parents, of laughing after long work days, of moments when his humor arrived exactly when life felt a little too heavy. And suddenly, it became clear. This wasn't fear. It was attachment. Bradley has that rare ability to make seriousness feel safe. When he reflects, it doesn't feel like distance, it feels like closeness, as if he's inviting everyone to sit beside him, have a quiet laugh, and remember that life doesn't have to be rushed. There was something gently romantic about that idea. Not roses or grand gestures, but shared time, shared smiles, and the kind of affection that grows quietly over years. The kind that makes people say, "He's been part of my life longer than I realized." And of course, just when emotions were reaching their peak, Bradley did what he does best. He smiled. That soft, knowing smile, the one that feels like a friendly nudge saying, "Don't overthink it." A playful comment followed, light enough to break the tension, clever enough to remind everyone why they fell in love with his personality in the first place. Fans laughed again. Some admitted they felt silly for worrying. Others said they didn't mind feeling emotional because it reminded them they still cared deeply, not just about him, but about moments, memories, and connection. And maybe that was the real message hiding beneath it all. Life moves quickly. Laughter matters. People matter. Bradley didn't say it outright. He didn't need to. His presence has always said enough. Through humor that feels effortless and sincerity that never feels forced, he's shown the joy doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. The buzz online slowly shifted from concern to celebration. Clips resurfaced, favorite one-liners, that perfectly timed laugh, that look he gives right before delivering a joke that makes everyone crack up. Fans remembered why he's irreplaceable, not because of titles or roles, but because of the feeling he leaves behind. Comfort, familiarity, warmth, and yes, a little bit of romance too, the kind that comes from loyalty and shared history, not drama. In a funny way, the moment that worried everyone ended up bringing people closer together. Viewers didn't pull away, they leaned in. They appreciated him more, laughed louder, and held on to the joy a little tighter. Because sometimes a quiet, emotional moment doesn't mean something is ending. Sometimes it means something is being cherished. Bradley Walsh didn't step away. He reminded everyone why he matters, why laughter mixed with honesty is so powerful, why being human, even in the spotlight, can create bonds that feel real. And as the conversation slowly faded, one thing remained clear. Fans weren't saying goodbye, they were saying thank you. Thank you for the smiles. Thank you for the laughter.
Thank you for being exactly who you are. And if this moment made you feel something, a smile, a memory, a quiet warmth, then maybe that's the point. Some people don't need big speeches to leave an impact. They just need to be themselves. And Bradley Walsh has always done that beautifully.